Rhetorical move in writing a publishable research journal article. The end of this lesson, the learner must have performed the following accuracy objectives. Discuss the abstract and introduction in rhetorical move. Elaborate the abstract and introduction in rhetorical move. Define the abstract and introduction in rhetorical move. Let us first define rhetorical move. It is a technique of using language effectively and persuasively. It is a skills of discourse which employs various ways to convince and influence an audience. The term introduced by linguist John M. Wells to describe a particular rhetorical or linguistic pattern, stage, or structure conventionally found in a text or in a segment of a text. The rhetorical move gives purpose to your source and allow your reader to see how that source is important for your argument. Rhetorical move in writing abstract. What is abstract? An article abstract is often the first thing that reader and reviewer see. It is setting that right tone up front and create impact. Whether your reader continue reading, it may determine whether your article is accepted to be published. According to Mark Friedrich, there is something very commonsensical about writing an abstract. He recommends thinking of an abstract as a cognitive roadmap for the readers. The abstract signals to the reader what to pay attention to and where to expect transition or organizing the reading experience before it takes place. Addition, a good abstract should serve to summarize the text, review the text to give clues to the readers, advertise the text, and assist in classifying the text for professional indexers and database abstract writer. Friedrich suggests using following 5 Ks in rhetorical move. Number 1. Introduce the situation or the problem. It's the argument of the centrality, importance, or the other relevance of your topics. This often starts with a question. Number 2. Explain the purpose of the research. It is usually demarcated by signaling words. There are very predictable lead scenes that should be used to signal these moves to your reader, such as "This research investigates" or "We analyze." Number 3. Describe the method, materials, and/or procedures. It is the most flexible of the moves. This can be compressed or even omitted if you need to be cut length. Number 4. Present the findings. Due to the length restriction of abstract, you can only include your major findings or the key takeaways. These are signals by statements such as "the data indicates" or "we found." 5. Discuss implication or recommendation. Gesturing toward the borders, horizon of your research. This is your "so what" question, why your research matters. Rhetorical move in writing introduction and rationale. What is introduction or rationale? The introduction serves the purpose of leading the reader from a general subject area to a particular field of research. It establishes the context of the research being conducted by summarizing current understanding and background information about the topic, stating the purpose of the work in the form of the hypothesis, question, or research problem. Briefly explain your rationale, methodological approach, highlighting the potential outcomes you study can reveal and describing the remaining structure of the paper. Why is introduction rationale is important? A well-written introduction is important because, put simply, you never get a second chance to make a good impression. The opening paragraph of your paper will provide your readers with their initial impressions about the logic of your argument. Your writing style, the overall quality of your research and ultimately the validity of your findings and conclusion. There are three key moves in introduction according to Swales 1990 to 2004. Each move has its own rhetorical function. The steps a writer can take to fulfill each move are listed below. Number 1. Establish a research territory. A citation required. Show that the general research area is important, central, interesting, or relevant in some way. Introduce and review items of previous research in the area. Step 1. Topic generalization of increasing specificity, where usually in the first few paragraphs in an introduction. Number 2. Establish a niche. Indicate the gap in the previous research by raising a questions about it or extending previous knowledge in some way. Step A1. Indicating a gap. Step EV. Adding to what is known. Step 2. It is optional. Presenting positive justification, where usually in the middle paragraph is an introduction. Number 3. Occupying the niche. The citation possible. Outline purposes or stating the nature of the present research. Step 1. Announcing present descriptively or purposively. Step 2. Presenting RQS or hypothesis. Step 3. Definitional clarification. Step 4. Summarizing method. Step 5. Announcing principal outcomes. Step 6. Stating the value of the present research. Step 7. Outlining the structure of the paper, where usually in the final few paragraphs is an introduction.